When it comes to alliance politics in India, it's the other way around. United we fall and divided we stand. So is that what is going to happen is the critical question.
Namaste everyone, welcome to Shakti Media. This is your host Sharan Sethi. With us today we have a very special guest. He's a cephalogist and a political commentator, and he serves as the Vice Chancellor for Jagran Lake City University. Mr. Professor Sandeep Shastri, thank you so much for joining us today. Could you give us your overview into the OBC bill and how the political dynamism is happening behind it?
You see, the OBC bill will have to take into account two factors. Factor number one, the constitutional definition of backward as being socially and educationally backward. The constitution does not define backward as economically backward. So that's one factor which will have to be budgeted into any legislation. Otherwise, tomorrow standing the scrutiny of the court would be a challenge. Right. Secondly, the court has consistently maintained that because reservation is an exception and equality is the rule, the exception can never be more than the rule. Therefore, reservation should be less than 50%. So these are the two issues that any measure will have to tackle as we move forward in order to ensure that it stands judicial scrutiny. So I think these are the two major issues which will need to be sorted out. The other issue as you go along, which will have to be sorted out, is you have an OBC list at the national level, and you have separate OBC lists at the state level. We have been following the state level lists when it comes to state reservations. We have been following the national level lists when it comes to national reservation. So would there be at some time a need to align the two is the other question which would need to be raised and which would need to be addressed.
Right. So in conjunction with the 2022 UP elections, how do you think this will impact, and what are your overview about the 2022 UP elections in general? How do you think it's going to happen this time?
You see, 7-8 months is always a very long time in politics. We have often seen one day is a very long time in politics. So the UP elections is still a distance away. And I think every political formulation is trying to work out their strategy to be able to do well in that election. The ruling BJP is very clearly trying to muster support for itself on the basis of what they would say is the track record of their government at the state level and national level. That would be their main attempt to try and project themselves. It will be important and interesting to see how the forces which are aligned against the BJP come together in Uttar Pradesh. The last time you did have the BSP and the SP coming together, but that alliance was only to a large extent in terms of the leadership and did not percolate down to the ground. And the visible impact was seen in terms of how that alliance was not able to garner the type of votes and support they were looking for. So this time it will be interesting to see how the two major political forces in Uttar Pradesh, the Bahujan Samaj Party and the Samajwadi Party, are going to outline their strategy in the coming elections. I am sure that they realize that merely forming an alliance doesn't help them. There is a new factor in the election this time, which was not there last time, which is this time around, the BJP is going to defend its track record in governance, whereas last time they were able to go against the Samajwadi Party government and try to benefit from the anti-incumbency sentiment. So that is very different in this election. The BJP would be defending its track record rather than challenging the incumbent, whereas the Samajwadi Party and the BSP would I'm sure either jointly or individually try to strategize against the ruling party and gain what they would call the traction from any anti-incumbency factor. So it's, I think, still early days. It would depend upon how the forces reigned against the BJP were able to come together. Because we have found in the past coming together is easy, staying together is tougher, and working together is even tougher. And I think you need no better proof of that than the last 2017 elections that you had in UP. So I think the game is still open, and parties are still formulating their strategies at the ground to be able to take the benefits of what they see in the situation forward.
Right. So I'm really glad you brought this up, because are you suggesting that the formulation of a united opposition will be no different this time, or how does it work, or will it have any real impact for 2024 Lok Sabha elections?
See, forming an alliance by itself does not really guarantee you support. You see, we talk of whether the alliance is a meaningful social coalition. We talk of the chemistry of the leadership of the alliance. We talk of the cementing of the alliance down to the ground. We talk about whether actual vote transfer would happen. Because when you talk of an alliance, you will have candidates of one of the parties of the alliance putting up a candidate, and the expectation would be that the other parties would be able to switch their vote to the party whose candidate is contesting the election. Now, how much of all this is an alliance able to bring together? Or is your alliance largely on what many people call a anti-someone glue? Have you come together because all of you have a common political enemy and therefore that binds you together? While having a common enemy in politics is important to bind you together, but then you also require a positive glue to hold you together. This negative glue by itself is not enough. You need to not just be critical of what is, but today the voter is looking at what is it that you offer as an alternative. How viable is that alternative? How meaningful is that alternative? How possible is that alternative? How workable is that alternative? And I think all these factors come into play. What is the chemistry of an alliance? What is the what is it that emotionally holds together the alliance? What is it, a top-down alliance or a bottom-up alliance? Is it an alliance made at the top where you force everybody else then to fall in place? Or is that an alliance which actually grows from the base and goes upwards? All these are questions which will come into play when you talk about parties coming together. Because we have heard of that very old adage, united we stand and divided we fall. I'm sorry, united we fall and divided we stand. It used to be united we stand and divided we fall, but then when it comes to alliance politics in India, it's the other way around. United we fall and divided we stand. So is that what is going to happen is the critical question.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much for succinctly putting across all the points. And of course, we hope that you can join us for much more lengthier conversations, because talking to you is a real pleasure and we have a lot to gain from you. Professor sir, thank you so much for joining us. Namaste, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And to all of viewers, please do like, share, and subscribe our content. I'm your host, Sharan Sethi, signing off.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.